Hi, I'm Jeremy, and this is How Songs Come to Be. So tonight I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of sorts, a little bit of the story behind a song called Bring the Pain. For those of you who don't know, perhaps this is my videos are new to you. Past 2 or 3 years I've been making a record which is currently being mixed by someone who is very good and knows what they're doing. But over the past sort of 8 or 9 months, I have been approximately once a month putting out on YouTube on this channel sort of a rough mix. I mean, it's not rough, it's like, I think they sound pretty good. And certainly the feedback I have been given is that people think it sounds pretty good, but they're not the final version of these songs. So a week and a half or so ago, I released the rough mix of Bring the Pain. And so, as I try to do now, a week or so later, here is how it came to be. So it's one of the oldest songs that will be on the record. I wrote it 8, maybe 9 years ago. And it's probably the main contender for most simple song musically. So most of the song, intro, verse, middle section, goes like this. Really simple. That's slightly flat. I think that's better. Yeah, so really, really easy. It sort of comes from the, you could call it the Wonderworld family. Wonderwall. Sort of chord family. C, G, E minor, A with a suspended fourth. Haven't played that yet. D. Also D with a G bass. Although since I have a capo, I guess that makes it E with an A bass, but whatever. Yes, that's the verse and most of everything else. And the chorus goes like this. If I go from the end of the verse. Yep, and that's literally it. Very, very simple. And so simple, it nearly sort of never went anywhere. I mean, I wrote it, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I sort of liked it, but wasn't 100% convinced. But I had some friends who lived in the area, lived somewhere rather different at the time. And they very graciously helped me record a whole lot of demos of songs I had written, was writing at the time. And that was one of them. I mean, I had it, I'd written it, so I recorded it. And then I was out at their place one night and we're talking about it. And they mentioned it, they brought it up, they're like, oh yeah, I really like that song, Bring the Pain, that's really cool. And that made me go, oh, okay. Well, if they like it, maybe I should, doesn't mean that I should like it, but I should at least, reconsider it, give it a chance. And so I did, and we put together a demo, some bass, some piano. And I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. I really like this. One of the friends wrote a really nice, very simple, but really, really cool piano part for it, which really sort of helped to bring it alive and made me go, oh, right, okay, this is actually quite a cool song. As I usually say, I don't like to, say, oh, the song's about X, because that kind of, divests any listener of the opportunity to decide for themselves what they might think the song's about. But it has got, it's definitely, if you listen to the lyrics, it has a slightly apocalyptic sort of vibe. that wasn't really deliberate. I don't sort of try to be deliberate when I write songs. I just write what I write, and then sort of, you know, try to bring a shape, or find the shape, you know, sort of the theme of the song, rather than trying to inject something into it and say, this is what it's about. But basically, lyrically, it was kind of inspired by a movie called Spectral that I was watching at the time that I wrote the music. It's not, the song is not about the movie. It's not about it's not really about the themes of the movie. It's not like that. It's just some of the imagery and from the movie kind of found its way into the song. In the chorus, as I say, the movie was called Spectral, and in the choruses there's a line that basically goes, or variations of the line, or a line that goes, or will we wander like lost souls upon the spectral plane? And to put it incredibly briefly, the movie Spectral is set somewhere in Eastern Europe, I think, in some awful, probably former Soviet, supposedly, facility where, you know, some people have been experimented upon in the most horrific ways, and they're just kind of left. And it's basically their bodies are gone. Almost all their bodies are gone. But like, I think like their spinal cords and their brains were left in these vats and hooked up to these machines. And so their souls, or their spirits, their spectral selves are wandering around this huge complex, wreaking havoc upon anybody who happens to blunder in there. And so, you know, military gets sent, and, you know, it's really cool. Some really cool special effects, and I just quite enjoyed it. I don't think it ever made it into theatres. And yeah, when it was just one of those things where I had a piece of music that I quite liked, and watched this movie, and there was just sort of, there was a vibe, you know, sort of, yeah, the two things kind of connected in my musical mind, my songwriter's mind, and Bring the Pain was written. Yeah, and so when I was setting about choosing songs for this record, I went back through and I listened to a lot of those old demos. I mean, I had heaps and heaps of songs to draw from, or choose from. And I listened to the demo and I was like, yeah, that's really cool. It would be nice to try to realize that. So yeah, there's drums, bass, piano, obviously acoustic guitar, and then a whole lot of electric guitar sort of layered in. You know, there's 3 or 4 different electric guitar tracks, I think, kind of layered in. The piano is different from what was on the demo, and played by a different person, but I think the vibe is similar, which was what I wanted. That was more important to me than the exact notes. Yeah, and there's I think a pretty scorching guitar solo in the final the final chorus, which I was pretty stoked about. Yeah, that's it. Bring the Pain. That is how that song came to be. I got nothing else. Have a good night.